Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Eileen Lee. I am Assistant Planner with the Community Development Department. It is currently 6 o'clock, so I appreciate you all joining. We're going to go ahead and get started at 6:05 so we can allow some more people to join in on this meeting. So thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for those who are coming in. I just do want to note, I appreciate you for joining. We are going to go ahead and get started around 6:05 so more people can join this meeting. Thank you.
While we are waiting, I just want to make sure I'm audible here.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Eileen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aileen Lee, Assistant Planner with the Community Development Department. Thank you all for joining this evening's meeting for the Vacaville Victory Gardens neighborhood meeting for December 12th, 2024. For this evening's agenda, we'll start with some introductions leading into the purpose of this neighborhood meeting, provide some background, and go ahead with next steps on where we are with this project, and conclude with any questions or comments that you may have. Again, my name is Aileen Lee. I am an assistant planner with Community Development Department. Here is also Albert Enolt, senior planner, Payman Bhavan, planning manager, Aaron Morris, director of community development, Claudia Garcia, our assistant director of community development. Also here is our housing and community services director, Tamara Colden, and applicant Ryan Cassidy from Mutual Housing California. The purpose of this evening's neighborhood meeting is to introduce the proposed development, provide an opportunity for dialogue with the community, seek any feedback from the community and answer questions that you may have, and identify next steps in this process. The project we're speaking about this evening is highlighted on the screen in red. Located west of Vanden Road and north of New Alamo Creek, the project site is located across two areas to the right, Vanden Gate and Vanden Cove, which are existing rural areas that have been approved for single-family development, which will be starting early next year. To provide some more insight on the location and site history for this proposal is our Director of Housing Community Services, Tamara Colden.
Thank you, Eileen. Some of the history on the property. It was dedicated to the city by the Zoki family in 2002 for the purpose of building housing with a military focus. In 2004, the city approved a development agreement for a proposed project, but that project unfortunately was stalled. And in 2006, the agreement was terminated. There was quite a bit of time where the property sat vacant. Before in 2019, the city approved an exclusive negotiating rights agreement with a second developer. However, that developer decided not to move forward with the project, and that agreement expired in 2020. In 2013, the city declared the property as surplus land in accordance with the State Surplus Land Act and released a request for proposal for a housing project with a military focus. And in May of this year, the city selected Mutual's proposal, and an exclusive negotiating rights agreement was executed for the Victory Gardens project that is being discussed tonight.
Thank you, Tamara.
Hello, everyone. My name is Albert Enold. I'm a senior planner here at the Community Development Department for the city of Vacaville. And just a friendly reminder to let everybody know that this meeting is being recorded, and we will hopefully post this recording online within the next 2 weeks is our goal, so that way other people who are unable to make this meeting can also see the presentation of this information. Some additional information that we wanted to provide the public about this site is that this site is specifically identified within the city's 2023 housing element. So specifically, new state law identified that if you had a piece of property, if the city has a piece of property that hadn't been built in the last 2 RENA cycles for housing, that it needed to be changed to make it more attractive for residential development. So something unique about this site is it's not only identified in the 2023 housing element as a potential residential development site, but affordable housing product types are permitted by right. And so what that does is it limits the review and scope of review that the city can do for affordable housing projects. Another notable component about this was that in May 2024, the city did receive interest from Mutual Housing at the prospects of potentially doing a project at this location. And so the city entered into an exclusive negotiating rights agreement for them to investigate whether or not they could do a project at this location. And our department received this project submittal on October 29th of this year. And that's when it was submitted. And so that's part of Mutual Housing seeing whether or not it's a viable location for some type of an affordable housing project. And so with that, we'll turn it over to the applicants team to introduce their project and what they think they'd like to do at this location.
Thanks, everyone. My name is Ryan Cassidy. I'm the Vice President of Real Estate at Mutual Housing. Mutual Housing is a local community-based nonprofit. We own and operate over 20 communities and over 1,500 units throughout the Sacramento region. So we're really excited about this project. So I'm going to give some kind of high-level overviews, talk a little bit about the project, and then we'll allow the design team to go into some more of the specifics. So what we're looking at here is the proposed project. It's made up of four multifamily buildings, and then ringed around the multifamily buildings that are kind of grayed out are single-family homes. So we have two partners on this project. One is Insight Housing, who is providing the services and is a co-developer. And we also have Habitat for Humanity, Solano County, which is going to be providing the single family homes along the outside of the project. Next slide, please. So this is a design diagram. The thing to note here is the blue line in front on Vanden Road. The attempt here is to show the effort to keep the scale lower. So even though we do have 200 units on the property, uh, we've we've tried to keep the design to be a low scale. So the view from the street is fairly minimal. There's a garden in the center that we'll talk a little bit more about, and there's the single family homes to the side and throughways and sight lines throughout the entire project, including the three major view corridors that we're showing here. This is the landscape version of the plan. So you see there's lots of greenery trying to preserve some of the rural characteristics of the site, including a resident farm in the front that's going to be adjacent to the road. There's a central elevated plaza for community events between the buildings. Um, the homes are shown, just the lots are shown here at the top and bottom of your screen. There's a bike path that will wrap the full site uh, and fitness path. And then each of the buildings, we tried to keep the activity and most of noise and resident activity into the interior courtyards. So you'll notice that those interior courtyards are surrounded by the building. They include play structures for kids and active fitness areas for adults and military. I do want to say that this is, as per the RFP and the city's request, this is military focused housing. So our goal here is to house low income veterans and low income military personnel. Just a little bit more detail on the unit counts and the breakdown of the size of the units. So there's 206 units here, and that includes studios, one, two, and three bedroom units. There's a real focus on the larger unit types. They it the goal here is to house more families, and so families both for military veterans and active military personnel. So you'll see here, this is an overhead view of the four larger buildings. In yellow, you can see the community spaces. So Mutual Housing and Insight Housing do a lot of community-based work and keeping residents tied into the community and keeping everyone happy and active is one of our main goals. It's easy to build the buildings, but the real goal is to build long-term community. So there's lots of community spaces, and the adjoining farm and community space is going to be part of that structure as well. So there are some income restrictions. So this project is going to be 100% affordable, and that means AMI is between 30 and 80%. AMI is area median income. And again, a focus on the two and three bedroom family style units to help house families and military veterans. There is, typical things that you'll see in projects of this scope, there's a lobby that we'll get into and we'll show from the exterior, bike rooms, other flexible spaces for amenities for tenants that do live in the development. Now, the next few slides are going to be presented by our architecture team, Sarah Architects, that has designed the project to date. We're really excited about their design. We think it's modern but not too imposing to the neighborhood. And so I'll turn it over to the Sarah team that's going to walk us through some of those views.
Good evening, everyone. This is Ram Subramanian here, project manager from the architecture team. The view here that you're looking at is a view from the southwest entry on Vanden Road. We've taken care to break the massing of the facades of all the buildings, as you can see here, with different materials. Care was also taken to make sure that the street corners are having some active functions. For instance, as Ryan mentioned, there is a lobby in the corner, as you can see in the view with the glazing. Careful study was also done on the facades to make sure that shading elements were introduced at the appropriate locations as you go around the building. So this one is facing the south, so you have shading elements on the larger windows that also activates the facade and breaks the massing greatly. If you can go to the next one. This is an interior view of the community farm from within the farm itself along Vanden. This is a view taken from the corner of a wellness field, which is one part of the program functions at the farm. The farm also includes a farm to table dining area with picnic tables and whatnot. But also, obviously, since it's a farm, I mean, there are some raised planter beds and they're also flanked with some ornamental trees to the outside. There's a proposal to make a grapevine arbor. So this will be the view that one will see as you drive along or walk along on Vanden Road. So it will be a very, very pleasant view along Vanden. This is a view taken in between the two west buildings where there is a small parkway planned. Here you can see a meandering pathway, and flanked along the pathway, there will be a few fitness equipment that the families and residents can use. Next one. And lastly, we wanted to show you a view of what the project would look like from across the creek. You can see that the building masses again have been broken with different materialities and shading devices. There's also a solar carport that you can see in the foreground here. And one of the key goals of this project is to make it a net zero energy project. So the project hopes to be self-reliant in terms of the energy needs for the project.
Thank you. And that concludes the applicant presentation. If you have any questions or any feedback or concerns, please go ahead and send that to the email shown on the screen above. As for next steps, staff will continue to review and evaluate the project for environmental review and project analysis. For this project, it is subject to staff level decision by the Director of Community Development. And this concludes our presentation for Victory Gardens. Again, if you have any questions or comments, identified on the screen below is my contact information for emails to be sent to or any comments to be provided. If you would like, once this meeting concludes, we'll be posting this recording on the city's page. And so if you would like to see any project information noted in that gold box on the screen is a link to be able to see the project documents for Victory Gardens. With this concludes our meeting. We'll go ahead and start with any questions or comments that you may have. Please go ahead and raise your hand and I'll call on you one at a time to provide your public comment or question. Thank you. Okay. If you do have a question, feel free to use the raise hand icon on Zoom and we can address any questions or comments you may have.
Can't see a raised hand anywhere.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Thank you for speaking. Feel free to provide your comment or question.
I don't know how to raise a hand on this thing.
Okay. I'm good to go ahead and go?
Yeah, go ahead, Christopher. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Seaver. I'm a 42-year-old resident of Vacaville. I love this city. I've grown up here and I've watched it grow so much and change. This is an amazing opportunity for our community to receive much needed housing. I'm also a journeyman carpenter of 10 years. As a union member, a few things that set us apart from the rest are our labor standards. We believe in apprenticeship, livable wages, and healthcare for all our members. I'm sure the men and women this is being built for can stand by my side and agree that in these times, right now, these program, and I just think how awesome it would be for them to be able to work on a project for their brothers and sisters. I think about how many apprentices could work at a job site close to home. And I believe that with labor standards put in place on this project, everyone benefits. So I ask you to think about this. What are we doing to make sure the workers on this project are getting state certified training, livable wages, and health benefits? Housing is more than just a roof over someone's head. It's an investment in our communities, and it should be built with the same care we give to the people who will live there. Let's make sure that when we build for the future, we do it the right way by standing up for fair labor standards. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you for your comment, Christopher. Oh, I do see a hand raised. State Samsung, go ahead and provide your comment. Thank you. Okay. I'm not sure if I can hear you or if you're providing a comment. However, if you're having some troubles, we can get back to you. Mark, I see your hand raised. Feel free to provide your comment.
Hi, thanks for letting me speak. Thanks for holding this meeting and showing us what this might be. I do have a question. How are you going to ensure that the people that are applying to live here are just going to be military, or is it restricted to anyone outside of military, or is it just military and veterans? And then I have a comment after that's answered.
Yeah, thanks for your question, Mark. Yeah, so the purpose of the project is to house active military personnel, military veterans, but we do have to comply with fair housing laws. So fair housing says that we cannot favor any particular population, but our plan is to do lots of outreach to make sure that all the folks in that community are aware of the development and that they're able to apply. Mutual has successfully run these types of programs before at particular populations, and so we're comfortable both with the city's input and from the public's input that we can find the best ways to do that and reach all the people in need.
Hi, Mark. Before you add your comment, this is Tamara Colden with the Housing Department. I'd just like to add to what Ryan stated. There will be 52 project-based vouchers that go along with this project. And the Housing Authority has a preference system, which does provide preference points for those that are either veterans or active military. So those will be applied. That system will be applied to at least those units that are assisted with those vouchers as well.
Cool. Thanks for answering that. I'm not opposed at all to housing military. I just feel like this neighborhood, there's already a proposal to have apartments about a block away. And I just feel like the high density housing like this is really going to change the character of the neighborhood. It's going to create a bunch of increased traffic on the road already, and then also lead to much increased noise and other stuff in this area. So I'm quite opposed to this.
Thank you for your comment, Mark. Let's see if we have any other hands raised.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, hi, Shannon. Hi,
Hi,
Shannon.
my name is Shannon, and I've been a resident of Vacaville for about 20 years. And when my husband and I had the opportunity to buy a house in a neighborhood that was not high density, that was something that was really important to us. So living in one of the surrounding neighborhoods and seeing apartment buildings pop up just 3 to 4 blocks away from our home is very concerning, as that was never our goal, and we never would have purchased a home here knowing that. I have a lot of concerns about the impact on our schools and the traffic. Can you speak to that, please?
So similar to our other project submittals, we refer this project to agencies that apply to this vicinity. In the case of this project, the Travis Unified School District would be considered as the schools that would serve this site. So as part of our project referral process, we do invite them and provide them the referral to provide any comments or items that they would like to be accounted for as part of this project review process.
What about the traffic impact on Vanden Road?
Hello there. This is Senior Planner Albert Enold. Traffic is one of the things that we are looking at with our colleagues over in the Traffic Engineering Division. One of the things that we think might be helpful to share is along this project frontage and across the street, there is unimproved frontages, so there's no sidewalk or curb or gutter. So the project that's across the street, the Vanden Cove and Vanden Gate development, they are moving forward with their proposal as it's been approved, and they will be widening that portion of Vanden Road to the ultimate width that you currently see as you're driving close to Alamo Drive. So that's one of the things that will be designed to help and tend to address some of the traffic. But as I mentioned, our traffic colleagues over at the Public Works Department are taking a look at this project to see whether or not the existing roadways are capable of accommodating the additional traffic, or if some additional changes need to be made.
I do have one further question. Why is it that the city would choose to put an apartment complex in the middle of single family residence? I'm struggling to understand that logic, and I would love to understand more about that.
Yeah, the short story behind this is that the state is wanting cities to take properties that have not seen development over many years and increase the zoning density to allow more units. And this particular site was identified for residential development in the 90s, and no development has occurred. And when it was gifted to the city for development, no proposals really moved forward to an actual approval. There were some projects in the past that solicited requests and were interested in developing at this location, but none of them moved forward. And so when the state recently enacted, well, I guess with this current housing element, what the state said was if you have any other remnant pieces of property that are designated for residential development and you haven't seen any development occur on those sites, you need to increase the zoning so that way they could potentially accommodate more residential units. And that's really part of the explanation of why the change that you're seeing at this location is for high density, is because it was required by the state.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Shannon. If anyone else has any questions or comments, feel free to raise your hand and I'll call on you.
Hi, I live on Colonial Circle. I have a question about a couple of things. How is this going to increase our flood insurance again with this development?
That is a good question. I do not know. We will have to get back to you on that one. We do know that this. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, when we're talking about flood insurance, this individual property will have to deal with that on its own, and it will have to figure out how to deal with drainage and direct all the flow of water on the site. But the key point about that is when they're designing the project at some point in the future, if it gets approved, that all the water will have to go out to the public right away into the existing or future storm drains that would be along the project frontage. None of it would be allowed to drain on any other properties surrounding the site.
Okay. And then my other question is, are you guys going to be closing that? Because it currently, like on my side, we have the county fence and then we have our wooden fence. Are you guys going to be having access back there for people to be walking, or is that going to be closed off so nobody can get back there?
Are you talking about along the southern edge of the existing single-family homes? It might be helpful
where you're building along the Alamo Creek. So are you going to make sure, like, see on Southtown, you have the fence and the metal fence with the black on the, and then we're on Colonial Circle, and from Alamo to Vanden Road, you guys have the county fence that goes all the way down, and the other side right now has a little bit of a defense, but where that property is, there's kind of barbed wire, so it's kind of open a little bit. Is it going to be closed off so nobody's getting back there?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thank you for clarifying where you were talking about. I think we'll probably go to the applicant's team, Ryan, to talk about their proposed improvements for the project around the perimeter of the site.
Okay, because right now, currently, that there's not supposed to be anybody trespassing back there. So that's why I was curious, because it's really not a walking path. And properties along the fence line there and along the creek, we all prefer probably not to have anybody walking back there.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Our proposed walking path will be confined to the inside of the property line as it currently exists, and so it won't be part of any like larger walking path that may exist or may be informally there. The site is planned to be enclosed on the sides and in the front, and the walking path inside of the property line.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your public comment. For anyone who has questions or comments, feel free to raise your hand and I will call on you. If you are having some issues with your hand raised, please go ahead and unmute yourself. Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Hello, thank you.
Has the proposed developer taking into consideration any type of increased crime rate that might come from a multi-family housing unit when it's been put into an already established neighborhood?
I think we probably turn to the applicant's team to kind of share some of their experiences, as well as what processes or things they intend to deploy for this project.
Yeah, thank you. As a community-based developer, we currently own and operate, like I said, over 20 communities. We take security seriously, and so usually our view is that, security in and out of our properties is really important to us. Also knowing who's coming and going from our properties, but we don't see crime associated with any of our developments. And part of our housing model is to provide both on-site property management services and community development services. So activities and lots of things going on for community building within the confines of the development. So we don't historically we have not seen any problems with criminal behavior inside of our developments. It's usually trying to keep problems out.
Thank
One
you
more
for,
question.
oh, yes, go ahead.
How historically, Ryan, when you guys have gone in and put a community such as this in a residential area, how does that affect the home prices in that area?
I don't have data about home prices other than the historic home pricing trends over the last 40 years has been universally upwards. So I wouldn't know how to quantify that.
So for the city of Vacaville, I do think that that would be a huge concern of yours, is that you, by allowing a high density residential development in the middle of a residential area, is that going to negatively affect home values? So I would hope that you guys are researching that as well.
Thank
Yes,
you for
we
your
are.
comment.
Yeah, sorry, Eileen, didn't mean to
Oh,
interrupt you.
no worries.
And then, it might be helpful to let everybody know that we do have representatives from each department here in the city, fire department, public works, the police department. And so when these new projects do come into our city, the information is referred to each of those departments so they can take a look at it to see about how it's going to affect our existing neighborhoods. So that's a very good question. And yes, we've sent some information over to our police department and they are taking a look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. For any other public comments, please feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself. Thank you.
I do have a question. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Will this raise our property taxes? Because I know we pay a huge amount for like lighting and street light. Are we gonna have to like add that for this new development that's coming?
Hi, Keila. Thank you for your question. For all development proposals, such as this project would contribute to certain fees such as lighting and landscaping and typical fees you would see for other developments.
Hey, Keila, just chiming in here. The answer is no.
Yeah. Okay.
No, they won't. They'll be responsible for annexing into the district and paying for their own fair share into lighting and landscaping maintenance districts. That's currently in place. I don't know what the boundaries look like around here. I don't know if it cuts around New Alamo Creek and there's a boundary to the north or south, but that is something that our Public Works Department is taking a look at to see how that could work.
Okay.
Hi, I got some questions. My name is John Rail.
Hi, John.
Hi. I have a few questions for that future development of the duplexes, I guess you would call them. That's on the north side?
Do you have a particular question about those duets? On the screen, they are located or to be located to the north and south. To clarify, this will
Correct.
be a separate submittal, but it is identified to show the spacing between that multifamily proposal and what would be deferred as a separate application.
Okay. Now, your bike path that's just running across the back end of the other people's houses going around Providence Place, that goes all the way around the whole property of this development that was in yellow in the beginning of the speech. I have questions about that. Are they going to put a wall on that north side instead of having our fences there, or are they going to leave it like that?
Yeah, thank you for that question, John. So here on the screen shows in yellow that bike path or trail you're referring to. On the screen, those two areas in white that state duplex homes under separate applications. For your question, when that separate submittal will come in, that is something for to be considered on what types of walls and fences would be there along that edge. And so I appreciate your comment on that. We would proceed with what the materials would be with that separate application.
Okay. Uh, so the person or the whoever's building this section here, they said in the beginning of this meeting they're in with the people that are going to be building these duplexes, right?
So to clarify, mutual housing will be the project in the center, and to the north and south, for the future duplex or duet homes, it's going to be done with Habitat for Humanity with the separate application.
Okay. All right. My other question will be, I live on Providence Place, and I don't appreciate three-story. I call them apartments, duplexes, whatever you want to call them. I don't. I just I. It's not making no sense to me putting 3 stories. I'll go with two. I've been wanting something built here just to get rid of the property because I've been fighting with the city back and forth every summer. Okay, and because everything gets overgrown, they come and cut it down, but it's a fire hazard. I want something built there, but this proposal it's insane. It's a 3-story apartment complex, and they'll be looking right in our backyards. I know they're going to put trees, but those trees are only going to grow so high. And you guys are going to put whoever puts the duplexes, they're going to have to be single-story duplexes. You can't put a 2-story duplex in there.
So I can answer about the Habitat homes are not they're they're technically duets, so they're 1-story homes, not 2-story.
Okay.
Yep, and those are also because they're Habitat for Humanity. I'm assuming most folks know that the structure of Habitat for Humanity, where those are all homeowners. So just like all of you that own your homes in the neighborhood,
Okay.
all of these homes will be owned by homeowners.
Okay.
So I just wanted to clarify that.
That's fine. I understand that part. Okay. I can handle that with the next whatever meeting they're going to have on that when they bring it up. But I'm talking about the one that they're going to be doing with these 3-story units. It's like putting one of those office buildings right in the middle, in the middle of our, I don't know how you would say it, just in the middle of our homes where we look out and see other homes or what have you. I don't think it's a good project. I mean, if they go 2-story, maybe, you know, I mean, because they're building 2-story homes around us, that's not a problem. But 3 stories, because if you go on the other side of town where all the banks are and stuff, and they built all those brand new, there's no homes. There's all a bunch of apartment complexes. They've 2-story. I've seen but the new ones they've been putting in is 3-story, and they're just it's too big.
Hi,
You
John.
know,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Continue. I thought you.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine right now. Go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to say that thank you for your comment. We understand your concerns about this one. Do you have any additional items you'd like to provide? I apologize for the interruption.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. No, I mean, and then your entrance, my third one was the entrance. That's going to be for those single family homes also, those Habitat for Humanity. You know, the
Yes,
entrance.
there's two entries from Vanden Road,
Vanden
and
Road.
yeah, and those two entries will serve all of the units, including the single family homes.
God, that's I hate to tell you, but that's very poor planning. It don't make no sense. I know you guys got to try to fill that space, but you got to do something better. Hell, the city of Vacaville should just put another park there. That's what I'm looking at instead of having these gigantic 3-story apartments or whatever. You know, and I went to the meetings before when it was supposed to be for Travis Air Force personnel. I was all for that. I didn't have no problem with that. I'm sorry it didn't go through, but this not no. If they cut it down maybe 2 stories, I could see it, but not 3 stories. You know how many cars are going to be in there? And you can widen this Vanden Road out to 4 lanes. It's still not going to. It's ridiculous. We're already got traffic going up and down this road constantly. And I know you guys are going to extend it wide down by where Alamo is, but try to leave my street at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's unbearable, and then you got the fire department down there. I feel sorry for those guys. People halfway all working down, or people walking on the street, Vanden Road. I know because it's not completed, but then with the traffic and all that stuff, and you got the fire department, these people don't stop around here. You get a lot of those Air Force Base personnel that drive through here to, cut instead of that multi-million-dollar Leisure Town road they built. They don't use it. They use this one. It don't make no
Hey,
sense.
John,
Yes.
I had to cut you off. I think we understand what you're saying about your concerns. I think would like to ask maybe the applicant team if they might at least, I think this might be helpful to the conversation. Does the applicant team know the distance between the northern property line and where the 3-story apartment building? I think that might be helpful at least to know that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and I'll say, but as the architecture team gets ready with that number, we specifically understand that, 3-story is not is a challenge, and so stepping away, we didn't want to build on the property line with that sort of scope. So what you're seeing here is the single family homes that are buffering plus the parking lot. So these structures are in most cases, I think, more than 100 feet off the property line. So I'll let Ram jump in with the numbers.
Yeah, that's about 145 feet from the property line on the northern edge.
Yeah, and that's from our property line, right?
That's
So
right.
if there's additional space on the other side where the homes are, that's in addition to that. So 145 feet is about as far away as we could have built, and that was our intention to do that.
But what I'm still saying is 3 stories high. I see the 3 stories high on those other ones they just built on. I can't remember that road or street. It's over by the freeway, but it's like, and there's nothing around them. So, but it's high, and I'm looking at those three compared to what's going to be put here, and it might be 145 feet buffer zone, but it's still going to be they're going to be overlooking in 145 feet. It's really not that far. You're going to be looking over my fence line. Now, the next people that come and build these Habitat for Humanity, if they want to put a 10-foot wall between that 145 feet and that 10-foot wall, I would imagine they won't be seeing them in the back of my property, in the back of my home, looking through my windows or whatever you want to call it.
Hi, John. Thank you for your comment, for providing that to us. We'd like to see if there are any other individuals who would like to provide a comment or a question that they have about this project proposal.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see someone with their hand raised. Is it Leah? Thank you. Go ahead and unmute yourself, and provide your comment.
Hold on, you're not unmuted. Okay, there you go.
So I have another question about, have you guys talked with Travis Unified School District at all? Because Cambridge Elementary is overflowing. So where are you going to put these students?
Hello, thank you for your comment and question about that. So for every development application, we do route these projects to applicable agencies within the vicinity. So in this case of this site, the Travis Unified School District would serve this site. So we have informed their school district about this project proposal. And in that case, when we refer projects to these agencies, we open for comments or questions or items that they would like to be included as part of our development review process. And we relay those comments to the applicant as well.
And one other thing to add to that is, yeah, we haven't heard back from Travis Unified School District. They are here tonight. Tracy Kennedy is from Travis Unified School District, listening in to hear what the public has to say and showing their presence to be involved in this particular project.
Yeah, how you doing? So, as far as student increase to the schools, we would definitely have to see what that number will be. But as far as I know, we haven't received anything as what this development of how many students this development would produce. So, and just listening to the beginning of the presentation, they are, I forget the number of multifamily apartments, but there are a lot of single family apartments in the development. So I know my chief business officer, he wants to get in contact with the developer to ask those kind of questions if they've done a study on how many students or projected it would produce. So once we get those numbers, I know within the district we are moving students around, so there's going to be some availability at Cambridge and at Foxborough. So there's more discussion on how that will affect us once we get more information on type families and projected number of students being in those homes.
Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, we have some occupancy projections that we can share with the city. No problem.
Thank you for your public comment. If you have a comment or question, please go ahead and raise your hand and I will call on you.
I think Mark raised his hand again.
Oh, hi, Mark. Thank you for your hand raised. Please go ahead and provide your comment or question.
Hi, thanks. So I just have a question looking at the proposed design. It says something about a resident farm.
Sorry, Mark. It seems like you're on mute. Give me just a moment. Oh, go ahead.
I had a question about the resident farm that's listed on the picture that you have up right now. if there's going to be any restrictions on what can be grown there, or if it's going to be monitored at all. Because now I'm concerned that someone might be doing like a marijuana grove or something like that, which could further impact the value of the surrounding houses.
The community farm is going to be programmed by our community development team, and right now is still in the planning stages. So, and no, we don't expect that it's going to be used to cultivate marijuana.
Thank you for your comment, Mark. Were there any other questions you may have? If not, we'll go ahead with any other questions from individuals.
Yeah, I'm just still curious if anyone's going to like monitor what's actually grown there, if it's just going to turn into a overgrown weed area that, again, like I think John earlier said that it was a potential fire hazard as it is right now, or if it's going to be, you know, closely monitored, or who's really going to be taking care of that, if it's just going to be a eyesore or not.
Yeah, so our community development team runs all of our programs, all of our fruit tree programs and other developments, and has a budget on this project to use, program, and monitor and keep it in control. I mean, obviously, it's the forward-facing piece of the project that we want to be really proud of, and so that's one of our goals, is to make that the showcase for the development.
Cool, thank you. I think I'm good.
Thank you, Mark. If there are any comments, please go ahead and raise your hand and I'll call on you.
Hello, my name is Priscilla. I don't have any additional comments. I'd just like to echo the comments of my neighbors in this area. I've lived here for 25 years now, and I also share the concerns around crime, our police department, fire department. Traffic is a huge thing, as John mentioned already. It's a headache. So I just like to echo those comments and concerns. And as well as the garden, I think that could be great. But again, I could see how that could be overgrown. If we're going to, if you guys are going to put that in and it's going to be used for food, I think that's one thing. I think a lot of people could benefit from that. But again, there is that eyesore concern with that front as well. But yeah, I just like to echo the other comments of Mark, John, and Shannon. I agree with them. I'm kind of opposed to this plan.
Thank you, Priscilla, for your comment. If there are any other individuals that would like to have any questions or provide any comments on this project, please go ahead and unmute yourself or raise your hand.
Sorry, I have one more thing. Around the school, will the parents of our students be notified of this new building plan and if it's going to affect our classroom sizes? This may be directed towards Tracy, but I think that's really important for our parents to know if their kids' classroom sizes are going to be impacted.
I don't think classroom sizes will be affected by the additional students. It could generate new classroom growth, or we can rezone the kids to either Foxborough or Cambridge. So we do have our 6th grade move that's happening for the next upcoming school year, which opens up space at Cambridge and Foxborough. So it wouldn't increase class sizes. If anything, it might just generate a new class, a new classroom. That makes sense?
Yes, so that means there's going to be a new teachers being hired to support that growth and those shifts?
If it warrants it, yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Priscilla. If there are any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and provide your question or comment. Currently, I do not see any raised hands. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and inform you that this meeting has been recorded and it will be posted for others to view if you weren't able to attend this meeting or would like to take a look back at the recording. But I appreciate you all for joining in on this neighborhood meeting for Victory Gardens, and I hope you have a great night. Okay, thank you.
Thanks all.